We lived in exceptionally anomalous lifestyles. You recognize my husband is an artist, a sculptor, and turned into accommodating. Marriage in Hollywood is by no means easy, however. While a couple stays together for over many years, humans assume it is unshakable. Yet Meryl Streep and Don Gommer, once visible because the definition of an enduring courting, have quietly lived aside for years. No dramatic statements, no messy headlines, just a stunning revelation that left absolutely everyone questioning what truly occurred. Their separation wasn't widely recognized, but the truth eventually got out. After everything they built together, did Meryl Streep in the end decide she'd had sufficient? Join us as we discover the truth in the back of Meryl Streep's unexpected separation from Don Gommer, the secret that changed everything. Meryl Streep and Don Gommer were the kind of couple that made humans agree with in lasting love. Over many years, collectively, 4 children, and a bond that appeared unshakable, but something modified. And when it did, it became enough to make Meryl Streep determine she couldn't maintain up the phantasm any longer. For years, they have been the picture of a robust marriage, rare, almost impossible, but they made it paintings, no scandals, no messy headlines. But, in any case this time, Meryl took a step that stunned all and sundry. The public most affected found out currently, but the actual story? That started long before the world even suspected a crack in their courting. So, what definitely occurred? Most people recognize that Meryl Streep, one of the maximum acclaimed actresses of all time, regarded for her unequaled versatility and powerful performances across movie, TV, and theater, has usually been fiercely private about her non-public existence. She's by no means been the type to allow the tabloids into her domestic. That's why it changed into any such shock whilst her rep showed that she and Don were living separate lives for over 6 years. But if it really is true, why maintain it a mystery for see you later? What turned into occurring at the back of closed doors? To understand how this all unraveled, you have to cross again to the beginning. Before Meryl Streep turned into a household call, before Don Gommer had become the man she depended on most, there was someone else. Those who are familiar with their story know that theirs was a love story born from tragedy. In 1978, Meryl's lifestyles turned into shattered when her boyfriend, John Cazzelli, died of cancer. She was handiest 29, and that they had been deeply in love, no matter their 14-year age gap. Losing him became devastating, a lot so that she couldn't even stay of their condominium. That's while Don Gommer entered the photo. He changed into a sculptor, now not an actor, and he offered her an area to stay while she discovered what to do subsequent. No one expected that gesture to show into a lifelong dedication. However, 6 months later, they were married. For years, it seemed like the perfect love story. They raised 4 youngsters together: Mamie, Grace, Louisa, and Henry. All at the same time as Meryl built a career as one of the greatest actresses of all time. Through each Oscar win and every crimson carpet moment, Dawn was there, quiet, supportive, always in the heritage. But become that the problem, you realize? Hollywood is complete of stories about marriages that crumble due to repute. When one individual turns into larger-than-life styles, the different often recedes misplaced in the shadows. And while Meryl by no means spoke badly about Dawn, there had been whispers over the years. Was he definitely glad playing the function of the man behind the legend, or did resentment begin creeping in as Meryl's profession soared better and better? Friends say that Don changed into in no way the type to seek attention. He loved his paintings, his art, and his privateness. But as the years went by, the balance among them shifted. Meryl wasn't just a success. She changed into a living icon. She labored continuously, visiting the world for films whilst Don stayed home. It's now not the primary time a protracted Hollywood marriage quietly unraveled. Think approximately Clint Eastwood and Dina Ruiz. After years of seeming like the correct match, they bowled over the arena by saying they had been no longer collectively. Even Al Pacino and Beverly D'Angelo, who shared years and children collectively, ultimately reached a factor in which they could not make it paintings. So, did Meryl and Dawn slowly float aside inside the equal way? No one saw their separation coming, and when the fact ultimately came out that they had been separated for 6 years, people were left with greater questions than answers. Why wait see you later to tell the sector? What became the turning factor that made Meryl decide she needed to pass public? There's something about long-term relationships that human beings don't speak about sufficient. Sometimes the destroy would not occur in a single explosive moment. Sometimes it is a sluggish drift. Two individuals who have been as soon as inseparable start leading separate lives till someday there's nothing left to preserve directly to. Could that be what occurred right here? Or change into there more to it? Saying to my husband, we cannot do whatever wrong. Perhaps he does attempt to upstage me. Some consider that Dawn became the one who pulled away first, choosing a quieter life far away from the Hollywood highlight. Others say it became Meryl who ultimately made the call, that when years of looking to maintain on to something that wasn't operating, she ultimately allowed move. But if it changed into that easy, why the secrecy? It's no longer unprecedented for Hollywood couples to hold their splits below wraps for years. For example, until Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith revealed in 2023 that they had been separated considering 2016, nobody suspected whatever. Even Arnold Schwarzenegger and Maria Shriver lived one after the other for years before formally announcing their divorce. Was Meryl surely following the identical pattern? Or became there something greater complex at play? One of the biggest mysteries in all of this is why Meryl decided to affirm the separation now. If they were living aside for 6 years, why now not simply preserve matters non-public indefinitely? Could or not it's that something changed behind the curtain? There's been speculation that Meryl's busy timetable had eventually stuck up with their marriage. She's nonetheless running non-stop, at the same time as Dawn has chosen a lifestyle a long way removed from Hollywood. But is that sincerely enough to explain a breakup after 45 years? Or changed into there a moment, an incident that forced them to acknowledge what have been going on all alongside? Whatever the case, this wasn't only a quiet separation, it became a deliberate decision to stay completely separate lives. No sour court battles, no public drama. Just a easy damage. But why now? Maybe it is as easy because the fact that Meryl Streep at this degree in her life not felt the need to fake. Maybe she reached a factor in which maintaining up appearances just wasn't well worth it anymore. For now, Meryl Streep isn't saying much, but if history has taught us something, it is that the reality continually reveals a way out. Will she finally open up about why they chose to head their separate approaches? Will Don Gommer also eventually break his silence? In any case, those years involved so much of my beyond history that I consider art. Or will this stay one in every of Hollywood's maximum nicely kept secrets and techniques? If the past is any indication, there's nevertheless more to be found out. Keep looking, because what's in the back of all of these may just trade the whole thing you knew. Living aside, however, no longer divorced, Meryl Streep and Don Gommer have not officially announced a divorce. And it raises the query, why? If their marriage turned into clearly over, why no longer make it reputable? Why preserve, as if there is nevertheless something maintaining them together? According to a spokesperson, the couple has selected to stay apart, however, stays caring for each different. This approach that despite leading separate lives, there is no hostility, no dramatic court battles, and no public disputes, just a quiet mutual information that they're no longer collectively in the traditional sense, but they're additionally no longer completely aside. It's an uncommon scenario, even for Hollywood, in which breakups are commonly quick, dramatic, and final. But for Meryl Streep, nothing about her personal life has ever observed the standard script. For years, their separation remained a well-kept secret, best coming to light in 2023. That method for more than 6 years. Meryl Streep and Don Gommer have been dwelling separate lives, and nobody outdoor their closest circle even knew. But once the news broke, the actual interest started. Why did they separate within the first place? And what did Meryl herself have to mention? Approximately it. Though Meryl Streep has in no way immediately addressed the cease of her marriage, she has spoken approximately relationships, love, and personal increase in methods that appear to reflect what would possibly have befell in the back of closed doorways. One of the most revealing matters she has stated is that she has a deep need to work and to have robust emotional connections in her existence. These two matters, her ardor for her profession and her need for significant relationships, have defined her for many years. And if we are seeking out clues about why she and Don Gommer in the end grew aside, this declaration may preserve extra weight than it appears. Meryl has continually been a girl deeply dedicated to her craft. Acting is not only a task for her, it's her lifeblood. And anybody who has followed her career knows that she doesn't just display up, supply her traces and pass home. She immerses herself absolutely in every function, occasionally disappearing into characters for months at a time. It's the type of dedication that wins Oscars. Imagine what this is like.